What's going on, guys? Stevie here with Lucky Crit. I just wanted to make a quick video today because the new tracker system came out yesterday and I made a video about it, but I'm realizing now that there's a lot of problems and stuff that I didn't talk about in yesterday's episode about this new tracking system, and a lot of people are having trouble and they're disappointed about it, and I just really want Niantic to understand that this is kind of a big mistake because they have months of feedback from players in California and other places now, and they haven't made any of those changes that people want to see to this new tracking system. So first and foremost, players want both tracking systems. Either you give us the old one back and leave it the way it was, or we get both. Because we don't only want to see what's at Pokestops. And if you're foolish enough to think that everybody has a Pokestop near them, or suburban players who might have one Pokestop nearby, this system will work well for them, then I'm sorry, but it's not a smart idea. Because then you've got, 3 to 5 maybe spawns at that one Pokestop down the road, but the rest of your chart is empty. The rest of your chart needs to have the sightings Pokemon fill up. You shouldn't have a chart with 2 Pokemon in it. Meanwhile, you know that there's a lot of other spawns nearby you because with this new change, they're not getting rid of the sightings Pokemon, the normal Pokemon that would have been in your chart. You know, the Pokemon that might spawn on your house or the usual places that you always check. Those Pokemon will still be there. But now you're not going to know. Basically, all your eyes are on the Pokestops as long as there's at least one nearby you, and that creates a lot of issues. So, and not even in California, where they do have the mixture of the two systems, where it's sightings and nearby, so you do have your kind of local spawns around you at the bottom. We don't even have that. They didn't even give us that version. They didn't roll out the better version of this new tracker. We got the bland, plain, default version. And I've made a couple videos in the past, complaining about Niantic's choices when it comes to this game. I'm going to preface this by saying that I love this game. I absolutely love this game. That's why a lot of the content on this channel for the past while has been Pokemon Go. I've been trying to do more of a mixture, but it's kind of hard because there's always Pokemon Go news and stuff to talk about, and game changes, and, experiences that I'm having playing it. So I do love the game. And I have made videos before of complaining about Niantic, but this is totally justified. I'm looking all over Facebook and Reddit and stuff, and so many people are disappointed with this tracking system, and it just seems almost like it's on purpose, because the number of times that they've specifically shot themselves in the foot, it's almost to the point where it's funny. I can't laugh about it just yet, but it's almost funny, because you're turning away so many people and so much potential income from the game by making things worse, and you know that you're making it worse because you already have feedback from people in California. And sure, maybe the people in California in the busy, populated areas that have Pokestops all around them and all nearby, maybe they're not complaining about the new system and the new changes. But you have to understand, you know by now that rural players have it worse than everybody else. And you have made some changes to make it better for them, like spawn diversity and things of that nature. But this takes it right back and makes it worse for them again. Because now either they see nothing in the chart, or they see one Pokestop with a couple spawns in it, and the rest of their chart is empty. And there could be a Dragonite on the street behind them that they would have seen 2 days ago on the normal tracking system. Even if they couldn't adequately track it down without the footprints, it's still there. They can still see it. Now they're not going to see it at all, unless that Dragonite is spawning at that Pokestop down the road, which is a huge problem. On top of that, you're going to have stuff near you that you're not going to know is there, because all you can see is the Pokestop. I don't understand why it couldn't have been a mixture. Why didn't you code it in a way that made it so that if there are a couple spawns at that Pokestop down the road, that's fine, show that. But then it should also look into how many spawns are filling up your chart and fill up the rest of the chart with other Pokemon nearby. The only time you should have a blank or empty chart is if there's nothing around you at all. Not if there's only one Pokestop down the road and you have 2 spawns there and nothing else. You shouldn't have 2 out of 9 of your potential slots there. And secondly, how many months has it been that people have been telling you that we want both, or two different pages of the chart to be able to track down Pokemon, and you still release it in this way where it's just broken and not good? Please fix it, Niantic. Please work on it. You are scaring so many people away from the game, and honestly, at this point, it just kind of seems like it's on purpose. Maybe there were too many people playing Pokemon Go or something like that, or you're not worried about, the whales or what you would call the people that put a lot of money into the game, that sink that kind of money in there. You're not worried about them leaving, maybe. So maybe you're not too concerned about your profit margin or anything, but you could be making a lot more money if you just give people what they want with the game. If you made this game the absolute best game that you possibly could, and you do have the ability and the capabilities to do that, but you're not. And, certain decisions I get. I understand you don't want people, playing while they're driving the car and things like that. That makes sense to me. This change doesn't. You are giving us a tracking system that is like, all of the Pokemon radar stuff, like Fast Pokemap and all those other apps that we've had in the past. You're giving us basically your version of that, and that's not what we want. We want to track down Pokemon. I don't want to know that there's a Dragonite down the road at the Pokestop and already understand, all I have to do is basically walk to that Pokestop and I get myself a Dragonite. No, I want to see that there's a Dragonite somewhere around me, and I want to have the capability to track it down. I don't understand why you never figured out footprints and had that actually work correctly. I don't know. Maybe you don't want people wandering into other people's yards, in which case, why didn't you just change up the spawn points? Maybe make it so that spawns happen like on the road, not on people's houses, things like that. Like you could totally do something like that with Google Maps, with your data from, OpenStreetMaps and stuff. Like, I know that you have the ability to make that better, for sure. So if you don't want people like wandering into other people's lawns and territory and stuff like that, change that. Give us the footprints back. Make it work. Make it not too stressful on the server for some reason. At the very least, like with the tracking system the way that we had it, it was nerfed, it wasn't great, but we could still triangulate the location of a Pokemon. About, I'm going to say 90% of the time, I was still able to find what I was looking for when I went around searching for Pokemon. So it was usable, and I did appreciate it to that extent. This is worse. I don't want to know that there's a Dragonite down the road. That takes all of the fun out of trying to find the Pokemon. There's no adventure there. It's just, hey, let's drive down the road to the Pokestop. Let's catch a Dragonite there. Done. Pokemon shouldn't be at the museums, at the historic landmarks, at whatever. Like, some Pokemon being there, fine, that's cool. But the other point is that at parks, at these rural areas, forests, things like that, if Pokemon were in the real world, that's where they would be. That's what makes the most sense for them to be at. And yet you want people to only be around these crowded city areas where you are, like, you want all the Pokemon to be because that's where the Pokestops are. Pokemon is not about history. And I understand that your philosophy as a business is you want people to learn about the area around them and learn the history there that they might not have known before and interact with things in kind of a different way. And, sure, sometimes it is interesting to learn about the history of a place while you're catching Pokemon there, but most people don't care about that. They just want to catch the Pokemon. So your philosophy doesn't match up with the player base. They just want to catch the Pokemon, they want to find the Pokemon. They're not going to be putting effort into researching these locations or learning the history anyway, unless they're already interested in it to begin with. So why does it matter that you are leading them to these Pokestops on purpose? I sincerely hope that the update that we get this weekend does address some of these issues with the tracker, and maybe it's just a couple of days of bad tracker that I can put up with, that I could accept. But I'm not 100% sold that you would even do that, or maybe you're not even ready to make changes to this tracker. So you might have just given it to us, and we're going to have to wait, who knows, weeks, a month, to get something better, to get a fixed version, to get a version that works a lot better, where we can actually see what's still around us and not at Pokestops. And I think the worst part to me is this whole experience of Pokemon Go is such a roller coaster when it comes to you guys, Niantic, and the player base and the community, because you give us something great that we love. The buddy system. Being able to walk and get candies. Great. Great new feature. Great addition to the game. I love the appraisal system. It doesn't reveal too much about your Pokemon's IVs, but it gives you exactly what you need to know enough about the Pokemon. Perfect. Great. Nice job. Seems like choices that Game Freak themselves would have made. Awesome. But then you turn around and you make decisions like this that hurt the game, that make it worse, that scare away a lot of potential players and a lot of people that already do play, making them quit. Like, I don't see any benefit from this, and maybe it's because you want businesses to be sponsored like Starbucks and McDonald's, and so you're going to put Pokestops on Starbucks and McDonald's, and you want people to be going there to catch the Pokemon and not out in the wilderness because this is all about money or something, but you're already making like record profits. Like, are you that greedy to the point where that's all you want to do? That's all you're going to make it about? Are you actually going to release legendary Pokemon at Starbucks and McDonald's? Like, here, come catch a Mewtwo for 1 week in the United States at McDonald's locations? Like, that's silly. That's incredibly, incredibly silly, and I definitely don't want to see Mewtwo's spammed in every single gym. The game is going to get worse. That's why I'm scared about things when it comes to trading, because you're going to have spoofers that spoof to Japan, catch a Farfetch'd in 5 minutes, and then want to trade it to me, and I don't know the legitimacy of that Farfetch'd. I don't want to see everybody with Farfetch'd. I like the fact that you actually do have to go somewhere to get it, and it's not just cheated and everybody has it everywhere, but you're not doing anything about spoofers. You're not stopping them. People are still hacking left and right. Like, I know that you can never fully win when it comes to that because people are always going to be making the hacks and you have to keep releasing updates it's a never-ending struggle. But I don't think that you're trying hard enough. I don't think you're stopping enough people. I don't think you're banning enough people. I don't think your systems are good enough. Like, if my game teleports me to Japan instantly, and I walk around a little bit there, and then I teleport back to the United States, or I teleport to Europe and then catch a Mr. Mime, like, there should be checks and balances in place to realize, hey, this person is just teleporting all around the world in an unrealistic amount of time. Ban. But honestly, I don't think that that's a thing. I don't think people are getting banned for things like that. This video is completely derailed and off topic now, but basically what I'm saying is the new tracker stinks. There are a lot of issues with it. I don't understand why you didn't code it better to make it so that you get both sightings and the new nearby system together, especially if you only have a couple spawns from one in there. So a lot of people are going to be upset, and honestly, I really do hope that the update that we get, assuming we're getting an update this weekend because it should be the second week, and usually we've been getting them over the weekends. I'm just hoping that we'll get a better version of this. Maybe this is just growing pains for the next couple of days before you roll out that update. That's all I can say. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this change. Maybe if it's made your game experience worse for you, if you actually like it, if it makes it better, please let me know about that as well. Please don't forget to slash that thumbs up down below if you did appreciate this video. I'd like for Niantic to see it. I don't know if that's going to happen or if that's possible, but if we could share this video, if we could get this across to them, maybe if we could tweet at them and link them this video, that would be amazing, guys. I just want them to know that a lot of people are complaining about this, and I hope that they hear it, you know, via app reviews, via people not spending money anymore, and, you know, complaints on social media, because they did say that they will be monitoring their social media, looking for feedback about this tracker. But honestly, I'm skeptical because people have been complaining about certain features for a long time, and they haven't done anything about it. And I know that they have months of feedback already from people who've already experienced this tracker, and I'm sure not all of it is great either, but they haven't made these changes already. We're still being rolled out the original tracker concept that hasn't been, you know, hasn't undergone any changes. So that bothers me. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.